Yeah, so part two real quick. You know, the ethereal body, like I was saying, is important. I want to let y'all know real quick too. When I start these little talks and everything, I don't like plan it. I don't write it out. I don't even know what I'm gonna talk about. I just get on, walk in, pull my camera out, and start recording, and then I start thinking. You know, I don't think, and I don't think it's a good thing to think. We experience and we learn from experiences. You know, thinking is a process of going to lay down at night and reflecting back on your day and see who you offended. You know, if you offended them, find it if you're wrong or if they're wrong. Correct that error and then wake up the next day feeling anew without looking back. You know, that's what it's about. Every time when you go into thinking, that's the only process. Hey, how you doing? But if we use it in the wrong way, like it's how your friends call you and tell you one opinion, or you see this on Facebook, or people tell you this on YouTube, then your pastor's telling you this, your parents is telling you that, your teacher's telling you that, that thinking now turn to chaos, and you lose yourself and make up splits in your personality. When that happens, you get a lot of energy blockages inside yourself. And so these energy blockages is going to lead you to make bad choices. And you're going to have compulsive habitual um, behavior. Now, the whole key to this, right, is like we have to understand, especially, you know, African Americans, we in just America, the Western world in general, we lost our sense of religion. And you see, when I was telling you about the Merkaba in the other video and what we call the commandments, is the key to getting back your powers. That's why the Jews was established and flourished, and you got many nations, the Egyptians who established and flourished, the Greeks, the Minoans, and so forth. You know how they did. But you can't just go and wing it solo. You can't just not say you're an atheist, but just trying to say you're going to follow your way. It's still the same concept of how it always been, and they're all saying the same thing. You just got to synchronize the information, because what one is saying is what all of them are saying. We can't look at it from an objective point of view. You know, you have to look at it from, now take it internally instead of externally. Don't look at it from like they're actual people. Don't look at it like actual events. Take it inside yourself and see how it applies to you. Put yourself there because you was there. Everything in life, written, lies, or truth, is inside of you because they come out to this thing called experience. How experience work? Even if you was an unconscious person, like what we call the animal human being, the animal human being, just for the record, so we won't feel disrespected, it's like in what's called mesmerism. It's a philosophy that first started coining the animal human, the animal hand, which is like a magnetic desire we have to just impulsively chase our desires. And they're looking at just impulsiveness as you just being connected to your external self, your cellular self on the cellular level. So with that in mind, you only have your basic 5 senses, and they teach, not saying that I'm making up an excuse that they teach you that, because we don't use excuses for Syrians. We have to know. Because your soul is already inside of you battling all that's coming from outside, We'll talk about the energy in between you. That is the inner you warring with the external you that's warring, and you're in between, the energy's being compressed. We're going to discuss that, but keep that what I said in mind. Remember, that's what's taking place in you. So now, with everything that's going on, it's like, you have to make the connection. And with making this connection, it's going to take your heart. The heart is the key to all of this. It's like we get these blockages and we don't understand it because of our experience and us externalizing everything. Externalizing everything leads to emotional neglect, or you get what we call expectations that didn't go your way. You get a whole bunch of different externalization. So with that now happening, it's like we're not in control of who we are. We become compulsive of external things. And in comparison with what we call an animal, that's how an animal works. Like, it's a cat that will sit there, and if this get too hot, they'll move to a cool shade spot, and then they ain't gonna move for the day unless somebody provoke them, or they want to have something to eat. Their stomach start growling, they go eat. It's like they don't have no internal intuition or anything that to help them exist. So what they do, they just feed off of what's called the cellular level of life. They only have cellular information. Their data is recorded on their skin, and that's why it's important to understand how ether works. And so when you only have that part of you, your consciousness is there in the world, but you're not here. So what possess you and who you are is these things that run this atmosphere. These is governed by beings and entities and dragons and demions. All these things control your emotions, your thoughts, because they're the forces that the Egyptians show us as these gods. They're here. They're called the elements. They have a profound effect on you because you're a composite being of all the elements. The air you breathe in is of the elements. You understand? The water you drink is of the elements. The fruits you eat is of the elements. That's why they GMO everything out, I hear them, but there's another way by self-controlling our own self. We don't have to let the government put us in line and tell us how to think, because later on it's going to turn bad for us. It's not going to stay nice. So with that in mind now, the animal is compared to that to make you very impulsive in your response and very emotional, just like the animal. So now by you being able to leave that paradigm of yourself, because they call that thinking with your lower animal solar plexus, you start to climb up in your root from your root chakra now. Remember, you started off as a teenager just fucking and having sex. What brought you up to the next one, which is the stomach, and that's where we're at with this animal stuff, our solar plexus, our impulses, which is triggered by that. And so now when you start coming up to the heart, that's where you're going to find out where your problem was. The blockage is there. That the gatekeeper is not going to let you in until you face your fears. It's a scary journey to the heart, because the heart been broken so much and been through so much. It's not going to accept true reality. So you have to first make it through your own heart chakra by going in yourself and facing all your post-traumatic stress, everything that happened to you. If it was rape, something with your family and parents, your kids, you have to turn back and face those things and to straighten them, and then you can move forward. That's called, like when they say old wine can't go in a new wineskin. You have to clear that out so that you could get that energy come up through you. It's called the Shakti energy. In the Egyptian science, you'll never learn it because they always only see the Uraeus on their head with the snake. But we don't learn what's that about. We think it's some king royalty stuff. No, they went through a ritual. You have to go now to the Oriental of India and learn Buddha and Hatha yoga, Kriya yoga, all these different things to understand what the Kundalini is and what that Uraeus mean on their head, what the snake mean, what Heka means, what the feather means, what they mean by the magnetic field, what the foot means. Everything is there. It's all part of our system and our frequencies. And if we're not in tune with what they're telling us, we're just going to let people guide us and let these lower energies make us impulsive animals. So once you learn all of this stuff, you will start being able to make it through first your own denial, your own false thoughts, your own beliefs, and only learn from experience, which would take your heart. It takes you to be able to have courage to experience and not just judge. Forget about judgments, forget about what people say, even if it was a person you didn't know. Everybody say fucked up. If you go across them and they're good to you, that's what it is. It's not everybody going to be treated the same. People get disrespected, but certain people you can't disrespect. Do you understand? This is real. And so if you understand that, then not everybody you're supposed to judge the same, because not everybody get the same treatment. Now, with that now in mind, after you get through the heart and you face it, you're going to go through changes. You're going to get broken down and rebuilt. It's like you're going to face death, but death is not death, it's transformation. It's the death of the material you, and you get hung on the cross now. You become right here in the center. And what's next is the throat. The throat is what we call the Hierophant. Well, the Hierophant is the key to everything, because that's where the word comes from, and you could make somebody with your words, or you could break somebody with your words. You got to realize if you get the heart now and you're not able to speak and say what you mean, you can't be able to live and experience, much less guide your will to where you want to go. So with the opening of the heart, you have to be able to have the opening of the mouth, which is probably the throat chakra, to now be free. And so with that, you have to release yourself from control and just allow nature and experience to be. use your intuition and don't try to always think you're in control of everything, and speak the truth. Even if it hurts somebody, that will release the Hierophant in you. The Hierophant is like the key now to get you to God, the highest state of being, the God you. The higher God you now will have to face the other two adversaries of herself, which is now the pineal and the crown next. Those two is what you're going to face in the pineal. It's created of two sides, the two temples, which is called Boaz and Jashim, or we're going to call it the Inga and Pingala, which is the pituitary and the pineal. These two now is the twin flames. This is the key to the soul itself. And so you got to realize the soul is an androgynous being made up of two people that's separated, but they still exist within each other as a matrix that make one incomplete until the other one is there. And one is of wisdom and the other one is of understanding. The man got the wisdom which is inside of him, but he can't accomplish with nothing with the wisdom without the woman, because the woman is the one who has the knowledge, the real understanding. You understand? She reads what's in them, but he goes and get the information. And so together they come back and unite as the twin flame in a sense. But they have to first purify themselves and get through these top, like I said, the pineal, which is considered Boaz and Jashim, the twin pillars. Now, once you pass that, you get to the crown. You know, I always talk to y'all about the crown. I show you pictures of the crown in my cloud videos. That's what the crown is. The crown will be the pinnacle for leaving your chakra to make it back to Sirius through Orion. You understand? Once you make it there, that's when you become with the absolute. Once you get to the absolute, you become pure ether, your everything, your energy. Now, all this comes from you now as a radiance down back onto you, and you will see that's why they have the pictures of the saints with the things glowing from one sun and hitting off a mirror or another dimension or some other thing in them old paintings. That literally now, you know, it's getting dark. Let me end this. Is the real meaning of what those pictures is trying to convey to us. It's to embrace yourself. There's two of us. We have the you, and then you have the twin flame. The twin flame is always represented by this color, the blue and the red. That makes up the twin flame. You'll see it in all ancient paintings. All ancient paintings gonna give you a definite view of what society was back then and how they did it. They used actually the paintings to keep it in a state of symbology where blue always was associated with the woman, Isis. You know, she's represented as blue in the medieval European version of the story. And you got red. Red would be represented by the male aspect of the twin flame. And you will always see, that's why you see Jesus always having red and white. That's why the United States have the colors red and white. It's a spiritual thing because it's the red and the white stand for the twin flame. It's not just in them. Look at the Bloods and the Crips, red and white. I mean, red and blue. It's the same thing. I didn't mean to ever say white. My bad. If I said white, revamp that. I meant to say red and blue. That's the colors of the United States flag. You know, the red and the blue symbolizes the twin flame relationship. And it's also in medieval pictures. And like I said, it's also in what did I say? In the Crips and the Bloods. If you look at it, it's in just about everything. And the white would just symbolize God, God on the whole. That's why you see the white is the highest of all. It would be like the crown after you leave. That would represent Cyrus or the absolute. And you would say the blue and the red will make up the man and the woman to form what's called the Trinity, which is you. And you're going back on the journey back up. And that's how you would look at the colors, because in it is the same colors in your chakra system too for you to unite. So I just wanted to give you a quick understanding of how the twin flame thing works and how the colors coincide and our journey we have to take back, and how my body works now in reference to ether and what the ether body is. It comes down upon you and everything changes. Your reality changes. So, you know, it's interesting to understand these concepts because we get a lot of false information about what reality is, and we feed off of it, but we don't fully understand. So what I try to bring to you is experience, showing you from firsthand, not just telling you, and so you get a greater understanding plus a different perspective. Anyways, I'm going to end this off looking at this crazy video. I never looked at myself in this darkness before. This is incredible. Let's see what we could do. University of Conscious Science. One love.